judging and aren't led by this, your heart will find peace. Seeing into darkness is clarity. Knowing how to yield is strength. And the few as many. Confront the difficult. When she runs into a difficulty, she stops and gives herself to it. She doesn't cling to her own comfort. Thus, problems are no problem for her. Small is easy to scatter. Prevent trouble before it arises. A pine tree grows from a tiny sprout. The journey of 1,000 miles, trying to grasp things, you lose them. Forcing a project to completion, you ruin what was almost ripe. Therefore, the master takes action by letting things take their course. He remains as calm at the end as at the beginning. What he desires is non-desire. What he learns is to unlearn. He simply reminds people of who they have always been. He cares about nothing but the Tao. Thus, he can care for all things. 65. The ancient masters didn't try to educate the people, but kindly taught them to not know. When they think that they know the answers, people are difficult to guide. When they know that they don't know, people can find their own way. If you want to learn how to govern, avoid being clever or rich. The simplest pattern is the clearest. Content with an ordinary life, you can show all people the way back to their own true nature. '66. All streams flow to the sea because it is lower than they are. Humility gives it its power. If you want to govern the people, you must place yourself below them. If you want to lead the people, you must learn how to follow them.
Is it more like what?
The master is above the people, and no one feels oppressed. She goes ahead of the people, and no one feels manipulated. The whole world is grateful to her, because she competes with no one. No one can compete with her. 67. Some say that my teaching is nonsense. Others call it lofty, but impractical. But to those who have looked inside themselves, this nonsense makes perfect sense. And to those who put it into practice, this loftiness has roots that go deep.
Beautiful she is.
I have just 3 things to teach. simplicity, patience, compassion. These three are your greatest treasures. Simple in actions and in both friends and enemies. You accord with the way things are. Compassionate toward yourself. You reconcile all beings in the world. It's his opponent at his best. The best general enters the mind of his enemy. The best businessman serves the communal good. The best leader follows the will of the people. All of them embody the virtues. Have a saying. Rather than first move, it is better to wait and see. Rather than advance an inch, it is better to retreat a yard. This is called going forward without advancing. Going back without using weapons. There is no greater misfortune than unevil. Thus you destroy your three treasures and become an enemy yourself. When two great forces oppose each other, the victory will go to the one that knows how to yield. 70. My teachings are easy to understand and easy to put into practice. Yet your intellect will never grasp them, and if you try to practice them, you'll fail. My teachings are older than the world. How can you grasp their meaning?
Shut up.
If you want to know me, look inside.
Science has, definitely been demonstrated to have more utility for understanding things about the world. Well, philosophy
within science.
Yeah. I know there's a philosophical component for philosophy to the science.
Because law is basically philosophy. Like, for example, this Congress, these people who are in the Congress, they're philosophers.
My phone. I'll be right back.
Yeah. For some reason, I can never get it to work on my iPad, which sucks.
Just weird, man. Like, what was the need of bringing in slavery? He said that we're not granting him his position only because, like, I don't know, we're theists, or I don't know, his religion doesn't allow for thoughts such as his. Just completely like an assumption. He made like a generalized brush stroke across like all theists in the room, assuming like they're Christian or they hold to religion or something. And then he hit on slavery and he kept pushing it.
How hard did he push it?
Yeah. I know that was one of his main objections to essentially the idea of why the God of the Bible, the objection to the God of the Bible being worshipped.
Necro, how do you defend, though, against the word law and God both being three-letter words? Aren't they just synonymous? God, law, law, God. See what I'm saying?
Love is the law. Love under will.
No, seriously, Necro, how do you defend against the word connection?
God, law, ass, they all are three letters, so.
Well, you can be a little ass. You can be a little, baby, little child when it comes to having a conversation about words. But that's a you problem. I think don't have body consciousness, and that's why you call yourself necro. That's why you're probably very pale. Maybe your hair is oily at this very moment. Maybe your skin isn't feeling so great. Maybe you give a couple zits. You know, like, how's your body consciousness? You know, if you think you know everything, like,
John, is that you in the picture?
necro,
Yes,
I'm being facetious because you spend so much time, you know, essentially just making fun of people who want to be metaphysical and philosophical and saying, you know, what they're saying is stupid.
well, it's just that
You might think that's comical, but, you know, I think it's a you problem.
yeah.
And you contributed to my campaign for Congress, so I'm fighting for guys like you, Dr. Necro. Restricting ballot access because of young men and your shekels, Dr. Necro.
Oh my god. Was somebody else, all the other candidates off the ballot?
I am attempting to. I'm attempting to force petition counts and determine whether or not, because the State Board of Election gets to determine your final number line by line, not the candidates, not the lawyers. You just have to file the right paperwork, and you can force a count.
I know. But your strategy to try to win the election can't be disqualify my opponents.
That's not a strategy. This is the law, and that's why guys like Necro just run away, because they don't want to talk about the law. They want to say, you know, that the law doesn't come from God.
Yeah, CM, did you ask?
Go ahead,
Anyway,
Dr. Toast.
Drake, are you there, buddy? Draco.
Do you say Toast?
Shut up, Kitover. Yeah, I won't give a fuck, okay?
Is there a philosophy of music? I mean, it was better than saying, "Hey, Draco, are you here?" Because, you know, that's not interesting.
John, shut the fuck up, okay?
The toaster. No need to use profanity with me, Dr. Toast.
Shut the fuck up.
Draco, Toast is under the impression that you're black. This is true.
Draco, are you here?
Yeah, I am extremely black. Like, seriously, though. Yeah, but seriously. I'm being serious. You wouldn't lie to me, would you? No, I'm not black. Fuck.
I did.
Fuck.
Why did you think that? I don't get it.
I had it in my. I don't know why. I just had it in my head for some reason.
Dude, he sounds like a straight country white man.
Draco, probably the worst man in the room right now.
Yeah, he sounded like some straight up country white boy. Like, I would be shocked if he was black. No, you can't.
White like toast.
You know, it's like fucked up. Like Draco's such like a dumb fuck. I thought he was black. I think that's what my problem was.
We are getting philosophical up in here. There's too many philosophers in this room.
John, shut up.
I know, John. I know.
I think I'm gonna leave you guys to be with you.
Welcome back to the Philosophy Room, put on by Narges Draco and Megatron. Megatron survived the black hole, the pit of despair, otherwise known in prison as the Gulag. He is a survivor, and he is here now, a philosopher, a Muslim man, and a Catholic man dedicated to studying the Quran, the glorious Quran, and studying the Bible. And Megatron is dedicated to discussing the deepest, most philosophical, and religiously important topics of our time. I give you Bible and Quran philosophy.
Oh my God.
We are a competitor to Sam Rosen's room, where he also sits there and talks about Quran all day long. years now, I believe. Has Sam Rosen been here for like 3 years now, just talking nonstop and creating spreadsheets about Islam?
And what is your philosophy how to solve this problem?
Where's the Middle East?
Told where Islam came from and Christianity.
What's Islam?
At some point, Nargis, we should only let people like Matthew and stuff like that, like who can disagree and have conversations.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of just simply going to like ad homs and stuff like that.
Dude, these are idiotic things of like anything.
Well, like just have a little bit of empathy, bro.
Why don't you just call yourself a Sufi, Narges?
They are a perennialist of some kind. Like I adhere to I take from it all. I think I've always been like that. Just didn't grow up with any sort of particular school of thought.
Yo.
What's up, bro?
Doing fine. What about you?
What's fine? The rip. I said not 11 minutes. Chilling.
Well, I see philosophy and
But Draco, like, do know that Matthew and the rest of them too were hardcore sort of traditionalists, Mu'tazilites, and that era.
How why do they follow Khamenei? Like, how did that happen? How did that happen?
I think for him it's a troll, to like
Now, well, don't they take it very seriously?
it's just at shock value.
Hey, Narges, I just want to briefly say that there is a critical component of philosophy which not a lot of people think about. It's time.
Hold
It's
on,
time
Congress,
management.
Congress, hold on a second. Nagus,
That's the irony of it. Like, because I hold to most of those philosophies, but it just doesn't. It's not compatible. That's why I'm saying it's just there to create like this kind of shock value. Because most people would like deny it or refute it. So it's like a noble lie.
Narges, the best philosophy is the book club where we read books to each other instead of talking all the time.
Those were such good days, John. Nowadays, it's just so busy. I don't know doing what.
Well, nobody here reads books. All they do is just sit here and, practice words, and it's like not getting anybody anywhere. At least share a couple passages from a book now and again.
I agree with that.
give an example.
Give an example, John. should we tell her the book we read? Are you open to it?
Man, that sounds like the occult. The occult, I don't know how to pronounce this. Is it?
Oh my god, you're so intuitive.
Yeah.
Really nice stuff in there.
Okay, give an example.
Such as some of the things, like Aleister Crowley said, it really has a lot of depth in it. And I think his movement of his cult just went like downstream only because like power came into it, like all other freaking cults.
Listen, if you want to hear the occult, just read Rumi love poetry. That's like as occult as it gets.
I know, I love it. Let me read you one. John, you want to read one? My dog is biting my feet.
Yeah. Yo, did you know I was on a live with Mikhail? Actually, Sela was there for a moment.
Yeah, I talked to
It's
Mikhail the
on
other day.
TikTok.
Now you participated in that money-making racket.
No, there's so you need to understand it's not a money making stuff. It's just like it's literally talks we have on Clubhouse.
Yeah.
And yeah, religion.
Bullshit.
I swear. No, who cares about money? There's no. Bro,
He
we're
does. He was recruiting people at the expense of the innocent lives, etc., that he fights for so much for Palestine, and he was like interviewing Zionists, to which he so much fights against, to collaborate with him, so he can like read them a script of what they're gonna say, how they're gonna turn on the heat, lower the heat, just so that they can make money off of it.
Bro, that's the
Like,
theory.
what kind of fucking Palestinian are you, bro?
That's the
This
theory.
is why. This is where I see the fucking hypocrisy in all of it.
When you're in
I wash my hands
practice,
off of it.
when you're in practice, it's just literally the same talks, the same thing you speak about on Clubhouse, but you do it on another platform, and then there's new people.
He was calling it theatrics. I mean, you kind of should obviously know this is all performative, right?
No, actually, before anyone joined, we were literally finding patterns in the Quran. Like we were searching this actually. We're talking some numerology here.
So how much did you make today? $8 or $10, $20?
Who, me? No, zero. I don't ask for money.
He does.
He doesn't ask for money.
To support his drug habit.
What?
You didn't know that?
No, I just don't care. I don't care about people practice or.
I really hate talking about like people behind my back, but this, I called it out. I screamed at him. I walked out. I said, all this while, this thing you played with the whole, it stops adding value. The meaning goes away from it.
Okay.
And you're like, this is the first recruitment phase. Okay, now X, Y, and Z Zionists, X, Y, and Z Palestinians come and let me recruit you for the scripts that are written, so that we can make shitloads of money.
No.
He said for the gifts and for the thing. Yeah, he did, but he did talk about the finance, the economic side of it. Definitely.
I'm gonna say this. When I reviewed the whole conversation, I think you took it too far. Because on practice, it's not the same. It's like you're just doing a TikTok live. That's it. It's nothing more.
Okay, see the messages from his house that he's sent, which I got out of. First phase of recruitment. And he's taken me. Yeah, he's taken some names. These are the people like he fights.
Yeah, I mean,
spits on and stuff like that. And he's collaborating. And then one of them said, this is the first time we've coexisted with each other when it comes to making money on TikTok.
I mean, no, he was just saying.
Sick.
He was just saying like, yo, we're fighting for none on Clubhouse. Let's fight for a real cloud on TikTok. So there's a bigger potential of audience because like this in a sense, right? So yeah, why not?
Yeah, but friends like you don't need them.
Like who?
Everybody, all the compulsive thinkers and all the compulsive speakers. If you don't join my book club, you're not a real friend. Like if you can't read to me for 3 to 5 minutes, you're no friend to me. You're just somebody who wants to practice English with me.
No, I see what you mean. But the world is big and like there's a lot of like-minded individuals. Bro, what we're talking on a regular basis, like it's not for I wouldn't say it's for anybody. Like if you hear me talking with Cynic, it's not it's deep. It's literally deep. Like we're talking numerology, we're talking themes, we're talking
Listen, Mikhail just likes to say the word.
We're talking things that are beyond like the common mind, I would say. So yeah.
Oh yeah, whatever. Read a
book.
book.
That is what he sold you. Exclusivity, really.
No, actually, bro, if I just say, for instance, what I just discovered today about something interesting, bro, the Quran is a code, man. It's precise.
Yeah.
See, this is the same stuff that Mikhail does. He goes all or nothing in
No,
on.
it is. That's the point. I'm interested in that because I'm a Muslim anyway, right? So
I get it, but the point is, you can't. I'm just saying it's bad form to just go all or nothing on one thing and deny all the other world's religions and philosophies, because there's just so many. So if
No, but we're open. We're open. We're not closed-minded people.
I know,
Like,
but you guys always
we're
finish
able
it.
to see the truth.
You guys
It's
always go
just-
back to
If
Muhammad,
you're that
Allah, and the
fucking
Quran.
open, provide evidence that it's God's word. Go ahead.
Well, why can't you
No,
just
I mean,
accept it?
You took
I
me
mean,
this
if you
far.
don't-
I was
if
not
you
going to
don't-
make this
if
argument.
you don't-
If
if
you're
you
going
don't-
that far, if you're really that open, provide to me that this is verbatim speech of
Yeah.
God
So
through historic Muhammad that he received through an archangel Gabriel with wings, man and all, and how it was communicated to him. If you can provide that evidence, that would be fantastic.
I have a grill. Listen. I have a grill just in front of me right now. Okay.
That's not a good answer.
It's surgery.
Is this a barbecue?
on Surat al-Fatiha.
This is a roast,
No,
isn't it?
No, it's surgery on Surat
Are you doing
al-Fatiha.
filet mignon and lobster
Letter
tail?
by letter, word by word, syllable by syllable, count by count. Like,
Coleslaw
it's all in
by
there.
chicken
I
wings.
see it. Yeah, but that's the point. If you don't do the work to see this grill, you wouldn't understand what I'm looking at. Like,
The
it's
grill.
we're talking
Oh,
algorithm.
you and Mikhail,
Yeah.
you guys see all the secret symbols now because your third eye's open. We get it. But there's nothing original about anybody. Everybody is just repeating the same thing that has already been. So
Same myth and legend, refurbished, repurposed over and over again because it works. And this is the genius of Muhammad, a man who is not open to trade, who trades God knows. This man in 40 years couldn't learn Alif Bet Tese, couldn't learn the alphabet. Sure, he's also educating himself. He knows methods by which he can achieve his purpose. And his purpose was to bring a sort of well-being to the collective, right? I mean, see it a little more rationally, for God's sake. I mean,
see,
No,
Narsha, the Quran. You don't understand the Quran. It's glorious, and the fact is, it's not the sayings of Muhammad. It is called glorious Quran, whatever Quran means. But what I'm saying is, what's so crazy about it is anybody around the world who hears it and has the faith to believe that it's divine inspiration. That's what makes it such a far out trip, and why it's so dangerous as a tool to essentially brainwash people to go all or nothing in on tacos, burritos, and empanadas versus lasagna, pizza, and mastacholi. Like it's a preference. It's an all or nothing preference syndrome.
It is what Draco and I were talking about. It has utility, or maybe the archetype is attractive. I mean, that's the whole reason why religion is even a thing, because it has utility in our lives. However, to completely divorce it from the reality of the world by which such things existed prior to that, like Congressman is saying.
It's the ridiculousness that you can essentially use it as a tool, because people are using it in antisocial ways. And that's, according to Crowley, that's how evolution happens. But if it's your opinion that Islam is actually a negative or a negative antisocial, I know it's two negatives, but anyways, you see what I'm saying? It's just
positive force. But,
it's a positive force. However,
well, maybe I'm just saying that you can use it.
It can work either way. Exactly.
Yeah, you can use it for positive or negative.
Well, yeah, in Morocco, there are some magicians who do some things with it, but yeah, that's on them. I mean, the general understanding of what's the Quran is divine, right? So you're gonna have to use this in the best. And I think the people who are gonna say, "Oh, look at the terrorist that comes out of Islam," bro, this is just less than 0.001%. It's nothing.
I know, so it
In
becomes more
comparison to 2
political.
billion people.
Because if you want to read Rumi, that to me, he's more of the mystical prophet of Islam, than Muhammad. So, I mean, isn't it your opinion that Muhammad is the greatest of Islam of all time? I mean, anybody could say,
No, he is. He is. Yeah.
He's
What do you mean? Rumi could be.
He can change the entire mindset of a people.
It's overrated. It's hyped up. Rumi's way better.
Come on, this is academic. I'm not making this out of my ass.
What's your name? Congress? Okay, so there's many subjects to take into consideration. There's how he was able to break tribal bonds. Distinct ones, like the Moroccans and the Egyptians, or
Right,
so on
but
and
it's
so
not
forth.
unique.
So
It's
forth,
not unique. You think this one guy's story is unique out of the millions of identical stories throughout the planet?
It's clear.
Every part of the planet.
It's rare.
It's not rare. It's not. That's all people do. Not rare. It's not. That's all people do. He just does the same thing that everyone.
It's
Excellence right now. It's different.
Just
It's
look
not.
at it for what it is, like as an observer from the outside, and I'm just completely out of it. I have no rat in the race, and I'm watching it as this little orphan boy from a respectable tribe comes forth. Number one, gets rid of the drought situation. Number two,
The drought.
That was what started it all off anyway. Like, just do some academic work. Like, study Joshua Little, do Jonathan Brown. Like, study something. You can even do like Lindsay Hazelton if you want.
And he's not a king, and he finished his life, and he's a king. Just this path is finish his life, and he's a king. Just this path is such a unique path. There's not an impact, like literally, like from the moment he left Earth till the present time.
But did Muhammad play music? Because you do a lot of talking about Muhammad, but I'm just wondering, did he ever play music?
Yeah, see, that's one thing about Islam that I don't get. I kind of feel sad.
He actually never prohibited
I'm so
music.
sad about the art.
So why would music be haram?
No, so the bad music, that's the thing, right? It's the bad music.
What if it's on the Billboard 100 or something like that?
For instance,
During his time, there was a high level like prostitution and stuff like that going on. It was a very decrepit like state of
certain knowledge, and music could be used in the wrong. Yeah, it could be used as casting curses upon people. But
Are you for sure?
I'm 100% certain of this. 1,000%.
I don't know that.
Yeah. Anyways, so what else?
So what do you think about Hillsong United? On it.
Yo, you just caught. There was a cut.
Well, because they have that beautiful song called Oceans
Who?
by Hillsongs United. It's a Christian band.
Let me go listen to it. You put it in the chat.
Oh, yes. For you, Nargis, yes.
Thanks, honey.
It's like Hindu.
It's not.
My name is Narges. I have been on Clown House for many years, studying the ancient and philosophical ways. I can't give it up because my life is so boring and the rest of the world
It's
is so
not. I'm
boring.
dating someone. Shut the fuck up. What's with you?
Oh, I'm just teasing. Just teasing.
You need to get Mikhail a
Nargis,
girlfriend.
I put it up from YouTube. I put it up from YouTube because I'm not sure if you have Spotify.
We need to get Mikhail in here to learn the truth.
Why do we get some Mikhail? Can you ping him? Why would you say that? Like, I don't listen to songs from an Islamic perspective. What's wrong with you?
Okay, from I guess a lady's perspective.
Fine.
Rebono
Also,
Shalom.
anime. Can you give me the Muslim perspective?
And there's a button there.
Do you have a certain type of like people you're going for, or just social
social.
Yeah, people who have friends.
I saw the Tucker Carlson one, but no, I'm lying too. I didn't see the whole thing. I saw clips of it, and I have it pinned to watch it, but I haven't done the whole thing. I've only seen clips, so I will now on your suggestion. Actually, no, this is not new. It's just it was September 23rd. I'm going through this, and I'm just like, what? You know, they have a group solidarity, and they do their own ethnic, interest politics, and then in the same exact breath, he's openly advocating for white identity preservation and white only marriage and white majority America. I mean, we're all human. We're all human. We're all except immigrants. Hold on. I'm so confused. I hate cancel culture. Oh, but also I'm a part of it.
He's a Nazi, like a neo-Nazi almost, but he kind of reneges on it a lot of times. He tries to backtrack what he says, but he makes it sound funny, so he can backtrack. But it's he's very, I don't know. It's like he is almost.
I'm glad it was.
Yeah, they're gonna say Quran refers to the Bible, yet Quran yet Muslims say that the Bible was corrupted, therefore contradiction, right? So no, you shouldn't see it like this, right? You have to understand something. Like this is, first of all, this is double standard, because even Christians, they believe that there are certain things that got abrogated from the Old Testament. So if you're really honest with that argument, it applies to you also, right? Secondly, that's what we believe. We believe that it's a general confirmation. It's not. Could you repeat?
We don't believe in action. We believe in fulfillment. So it's not the same concept.
There's no. You're talking to me?
Yeah, I mean, like he's addressed.
Okay. So if I say, it says in the Old Testament, don't eat pork, but yet Christians eat pork. How could you say it's not an abrogation of some sort of the law? You have to be blind to say otherwise, right?
But
So we agree.
The law is part of a theocracy that no longer exists. What are you talking about?
Exactly. So this is what I'm talking to you, man. Okay, you could say it the way you want, right? You could that's the thing. You could try to make it more beautiful, but I'm saying like there's a reality, right? There's a certain implication. The implication is that the law got abrogated in some sort. It got shortened, or it got deflected, or whatever. So yeah, this is what happened.
Yeah, that's not what happened. But continue your point why this is relevant to the Islamic dilemma.
Why is it relevant? Because you have to be true and honest with the arguments you put forward. If you put an argument against Islam, yet it would have been applied to the same extent on your side, it's going to destroy your faith. It's not honest to put it in the first place. So, yeah, that's first. Secondly, say that it is a general confirmation, not a 100% everything is perfect. So, yeah, that's the point. So if you follow the logic that is preached by the Muslims and the Quran itself, you wouldn't even.
Okay, never mind. Just continue.
Go ahead.
So who do we believe? Do we listen to you, or do we listen to the four surahs that
talks about the previous revelations and being preserved.
It's a question of what the scholars
poisoned, all kinds of stuff along the line. But now is the time. I don't have to worry about the white man with all the power. Because Trump just sat down with the Saudi Arabian man. Is that what he was? Oh, this is a sign. Donald Trump is welcoming Islam over the line. Come on in, Muslims. Come on in. Let's see what y'all got. But they ain't friends. They gonna set it up, because guess what? Another thing, there's a whole bunch of Muslims in Russia. Even that Russian man that killed the bear, he's a Muslim too. They all are. Just like you. You want to be a Muslim, don't you? Just to survive. You would take a shahada just to keep your life. You said you want to conform to the ways of the enemy because you can fit in. What about the other? What about the ones of us with dark skin? What about them? I would tell you, your head will roll first, my man.
I don't doubt you, but
you're a
right
deserter
now,
of your own people. Deserter. Just to get along with others.
who did I desert?
Are you not a Caucasian?
Damn, not a deserter, but listen.
Can I get it? Can I try to get
I
it?
like that man, though.
I try to get it here, and Dr. Responsible cut me off.
Yes, ma'am.
For giving me support, and I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
The idea that Dr. Yes, sir. And the idea that Dr. Responsible in his own rooms can't compete with me, but he comes into black rooms and then asks the black room to be against me is just it's arrogance beyond arrogance.
People.
And as you swim through your arrogance, do you ever pause? Well, you pause for Asians because you have no choice. You pause for Mexicans because they have the population, they have the numbers.
I don't care.
You don't pause for black people because you think we're still victims to you. You ask this black room to be against this black sister, and boldly, well,
Yes,
with no fucking
black women
only, and then you're still doing this only because I always check you. I always check you. I'm not afraid of you. I asked Bella earlier, and she didn't want to hear me because she's scared of me too. What do you even know about the black community without social media? Oh, you haven't answered the question. I've asked you several questions. So that's it.
Yo, girlfriend, you bring no facts. You just bring heat.
Speak on a subject or something, because now you're antagonizing. Speak on a subject or something, because now you're antagonizing the people. Like it's.
Don't worry, we're white.
I think the problem is, Erica, is that I'm silent while my name is being thrown all over this room. And when I do show up, now I'm being antagonist. Why is that?
I'm not antagonizing. I'm telling.
Why is that?
I'm not antagonizing. I'm telling the truth.
All of us wake up every single day, and especially when white people are not around, we admit this, that we don't worry about white people. We don't worry about what they're doing, and we don't think there's a threat or nothing. We go on with our lives as normal. But when we get in space, we got a virtue signal out like we're fighting a battle. That's not real, man. Like, this shit is just all performance. White people are not fucking with black people on average. There's rare cases that happens, but generally speaking, there's no fucking war going on. So let's stop acting like we gotta take up arms and unify and all this other bullshit. Just live your fucking life.
I wouldn't want to go to war with these real white people either.
I'm sorry.
I explained this to her. I muted the stage, which means that everyone got muted. It's not personal to you. Everyone did. Okay.
Talking when you did that. I appreciate you calming the stage to give me the leeway to finish my submission. I appreciate that. If that's what you're saying. And so I'm assuming that's what you're saying. So the idea that we are focused on black people, the idea that neither one of you people, that means Bella, that means Responsible, that means PP, knows nothing about the black community, but means PP knows nothing about the black community besides. If they see
my name
I keep my fucking name out your mouth. All right, you have to address me and address.
And I said PP. I said PP. And I don't forget the Mexicans on TV. And you don't fuck with them like you fuck with us. Why the fuck do you fuck with us? Because if you don't know how to eat chopsticks, you shouldn't know how to eat goddamn collard greens. And you shouldn't know what
I hate collard greens.
And you don't know what macaroni and cheese or fried fucking chicken tastes fucking like.
I make the best fried chicken, and you bitches love it. You love my fried chicken because I'm from the South, bitch. It doesn't have to do with your skin color. Cooking has nothing to do with your skin color. Correct.
Skin color, because skin color makes us superior than you, but you don't know that part, right?
No, that's totally fine. You know what? I'm just gonna submit. Here's the deal. I'm just gonna submit. Shia, you're better than I am. You're better. Hold on. Let me. You won. You're better than me. You're better than me. Just stop. Yeah. You're not about a conversation. Like, this is great. I have submitted to you.
Okay, I'm gonna use my buttons again because I don't know what y'all got. Please, because at this point, I just want to be able to move the mic around to other speakers on the stage.
If I wasn't interrupted, I would. People who are coming into Black spaces, asserting themselves, pretending like they know the Black community and they don't know anything beyond, good times. They don't know anything about us, and they're making submissions despite taking a mirror to themselves and their own culture and understanding the impact that their egregiousness has had on the rest of the world. They won't look in the mirror. They want to look at us. And I question, why do they look at African Americans only when they have, in America specifically, so many religions and cultures and racial backgrounds that they could mingle with, but they don't touch any of them. They only touch us. And we are the most influential people on the planet, fucking Earth. They don't have a culture outside going to focus on us for no reason, and I end there.
We love you. We love your people. Not you, but the men in your community. We love them. They helped save this country 10 months ago. But you are lost. You need to learn how to.
We fight with Shia too, but I know where she's coming from. Meaning,
it was like
12. Shit. I don't know. Can we move on?
Listen,
we can absolutely move on, and I will not unmic unless she says my name again. I swear to God.
Willing to do what we did, the fake whites. You're not willing to accept the fact that they're willing to assimilate. That's what we did. We're not absolute heroes. We assimilated into this culture, and Black men are very willing to assimilate because they know what retard and assimilate.
We get the idea.
Okay, all right, go ahead. You teach us.
Because if you're saying you're not even the real guys, you're speaking for them and telling Black people not to be prepared. If they've been saying war and you trying to get in with them, you really an outsider. You can't speak for them.
I don't
speak just wishful thoughts. What they got on the inside, no. Because I'm going to tell you something. I done fought the face of evil. I done been through things you can't imagine. With my own people and different people. And what I'm going to tell you is, with those type of circles, you don't know what's going on for real. If you did, you would be having these conversations. You'll be wasting your time. So what I know from that, what you're saying, is just a bunch of smoke screens. What you are a token. You're just the same thing as
Well, now listen. I will say there's a large group of so-called white people that have some very bad ideas when it comes to our community. And the crazy thing about it is, I do think, now I'm not speaking for all of y'all, but I do think that some of y'all, when y'all come into these spaces, y'all carry some of that same energy, but you don't realize you do. You understand what I'm saying? Just by when you're quoting statistics, like you feel comfortable to come and quote statistics about our community to us. I don't know if maybe you think it's okay, and that you're gonna be I don't know how you would. I don't listen when you do it. I don't know how you feel like you would be embraced for doing that. So it's kind of weird. Like I don't know.
I mean, Erica, whenever we were having this conversation earlier, remember I brought the statistics and you said you were bringing statistics about the Black community, and I said no, that was all statistics about incarcerations in single family households. It had nothing to do with the Black community, but that was just a fact about being a single family household. Where it goes from there is not.
No,
like
when you stated what you said you specifically pointed out our community. Now you might have had some statistics there about other communities.
That was the total. That was the totals. I never put Black on it.
So what's really rude though is when I'm talking, you start talking when I'm talking. And like I feel like that's very disrespectful. So I'm gonna ask you nicely.
Condescending is the proper word.
Like that shit burns me the fuck up because I'm gonna respect you, but you gonna fucking respect me. Okay? So what I was trying to say is when you brought the statistics, you pointed out the Black community. When you gave the statistics, now if it was something else on the page, you probably should have started with the other stuff.
That's what you heard, but that's not what I said. And I was not trying to disrespect you in any way. I was trying to engage in conversation, but it's to the Black community. But that's what you heard. I understand that that's what you heard, but that's not what I said.
You know, I'm going to say that that's completely disingenuous because any conversation that has ever taken place, any conversation that has ever taken place regarding single-family homes and crime statistics has always surrounded the Black community. Nobody has ever included the white community, the Asian community, or we're just talking about communities. That's always been a conversation. So you're being completely disingenuous with this. I didn't reference Black people.
Do you know how fucked up the white community is with
Karen,
this?
go on, Karen.
It is a giant disaster. We have almost over 50% of American households in the quote-unquote.
When have you ever seen any political pundits on any of these Fox News, CNN, any of these news stations parent white homes?
I never heard them talk about Black homes.
When have you ever seen any news show, talk show, radio show, when they're talking about single parent homes, they're talking about the white community? Come on, man. You can say this all you want right here, but let's not pretend what she was referencing. She knows damn well what she was referencing, trying to come in here acting all holy. No, that's not what. If that's what you heard,
Black,
get the hell out of here with that shit.
I get what you're saying, but I've never heard either way discussed on the news or CNN or whatever.
You haven't? Where have you been?
No, I have heard that the divorce rate is almost 60% in white people, right? I've heard that. I have not particularly heard about what the divorce rate is with Black people, but it's even worse if that's possible. The divorce rate has been discussed on, I haven't heard it on TV, but I have heard it on news, radio, and that type of thing. It's a disaster. Women and men not being together. If a woman runs your household, your kids are fucked. If a man runs your household alone, your kids are fucked. We need to figure this out, regardless of what it is, what color it is. This is something that affects every single body. When kids are raised by one gender, they have a gigantic, and there's a lot of statistics to prove this. I can't pull it up on ChatGPT right now, but it's a gigantic disaster when kids are raised by one gender or one sex, men or women. It is strange that the statistics and the studies say that if kids are raised by a man, They have a better opportunity to go to college, better opportunity to be successful in life. But almost to me, it's negligible. Man and a woman is important to having a kid be successful. Who wants to fight against that?
Earlier, we had someone tell you that their mother raised them.
I did.
She did a very good job. So I mean, what do you say for mothers who so you have men that go off the war and die, and you have single parents that raise those children that are left behind. I mean, there are situations where you're going to be in a single parent into raising that child, or those children. So I don't totally agree with that. Do I think that's the ideal situation? Absolutely not. Everything is balanced.
But Erica, a mommy can put as much work as she wants into raising a boy, particularly, but the outcomes are significantly worse when a woman raises a boy. I mean,
that worse in what way?
In every particularly, I'll talk about outcomes, right? If a woman raises a boy on her own, he is 60% less likely to graduate high school. He's 72% less likely to graduate college. He's less likely, although I don't have the statistic, to have a functioning marriage. And I'll pull that up right now because I'll pull it up right now. But if a man raises a boy, okay, it's a little bit better, surprisingly. Absolutely surprising.
When you say a little bit better, do those numbers change drastically, or is it a little bit better?
It's a little bit better. It's like 8% better.
How many? Say that again.
It's about 8% better.
Oh goodness! So
it's not drastic.
8%. I mean that.
You just got here. You were gone.
I can describe to you vividly in ways that I have to speak to people in this way.
Sam, we was just having a cool convo, bro. Come on, G.
Why are you
just let
interrupting?
Dan finish?
Yeah, there are times when I have to speak to people like you in this way, like to preserve my livelihood. If there's something we're doing in terms of business and someone is encroaching upon my livelihood, then yeah, I have to speak to people in this way. I do it face to face, regardless of the consequences. So yeah, I would speak to you in this way quite freely. I would have no objection to doing it. Does that make sense to you? Do you know what it's like to have your livelihood in jeopardy?
I'm sorry that your livelihood's in jeopardy, man. Hey, you might just have to leave then if that's the case. So, I don't know what to tell you, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that your livelihood and your mental health has been so.
I don't think you understand. Like,
dominated.
Do you understand what I said?
Oh no.
I have to speak to people in this way. I'm retarded. And I do it in real life, and I would do it to you.
Nah, you wouldn't do that in real life, big dog.
Yes, sir. Where do you live?
I live in Georgia. Come through. I live in Atlanta.
Why would you do it in real life? Why would I go to that?
The internet.
Why would I go to Hicksville?
Man, I've seen people be rude in real life. What do you mean? Nah, he's not like that, man. No, I don't take anybody on Clubhouse seriously as far as like this room talk. Islamically, that's how I'm taught to move. Anytime somebody disrespect me, I take it on the chin and I keep it pushing. Ain't nobody put their hands on me. Ain't nobody messing with my money. Ain't nobody messing with my family. Y'all just talking crazy about me. I can take it on the chin. It's really not that deep.
Thank you.
The title, Islam, I think there's no contest. It's one of the most cheapest faith-based things out there. It's called atheism.
What is
It's
atheism?
called so many religions, and daft. They have no purpose. They have no morals. They have nothing to give you. It doesn't tell you where life comes from. It doesn't tell you anything about what you're going to happen to you after you die. And it doesn't answer any of the day-to-day questions.
It seems to me that, sorry, I understand
atheism.
One thing that atheism does offer is exclusivity, right? It's like being a member of Mensa, right? Like, what really is the value? If you've ever been to a Mensa meeting, it's kind of boring. All they do is they sit around and talk to each other about how smart they are, right? I mean, atheism is kind of like that. To actually be an atheist, right, you kind of have to be, like superior, like the elect. Right? And after that, I can see why you think that, right? The problem is I just can't explain it to you. Kind of for the same reason why I can't explain quantum gravity to you, right? You're just not equipped. And in fairness, what I'm saying is true of like most self-professed quote unquote atheists as well, right? Like all the goofballs you see on stage in Clubhouse day in and day out, right? Like none of them are like true atheists, right? But I mean, I don't know, man. You know. If you don't know, you don't know. That's what sums it up.
Yeah, so there is no context. I understand.
I want to go through some evidence that I've found reading the Quran recently, which is people often harp on the contradictions and the errors in the Quran, but I think the bad reasoning in the Quran is actually pretty surprising. You'd expect God to be like really intelligent and be able to like have conclusions and premises. So here's some bad reasoning. It says in the Quran, if it was from any other than Allah, they would have found discrepancies in it. Well, that's not true. You don't need a book. If it doesn't have discrepancies, doesn't mean it's from God. Like it could just, if it was made by a human, there doesn't need to be a discrepancy.
How would I be able to trust a book from God if it has contradictions in it?
Yeah, but that's not what it says. It doesn't say if this book has contradictions, don't trust it. It says if it wasn't from God, you would have found contradictions.
But I'm saying the Quran is making the claim that it's from God. The Quran
doesn't mean that someone else wouldn't have made that.
Now you compare.
Literally, if a human can write something that has no discrepancies in it, watch this. I'll do it right now. There is a cat. It is on the map. It is wearing a hat. Those three sentences, none of them can contradict each other. There, I just wrote something that doesn't contradict itself. It doesn't mean that it's from Allah, and doesn't mean that if I write something that doesn't have discrepancies in it, that it is from Allah.
I'm saying that is the baseline. Anything that claims to be from the all-knowing, that is the baseline. It cannot have errors or contradictions in it. That's the point. You know what I'm saying? So if you're able to find errors or contradictions in something that is making the claim that it is coming from the Almighty, that has to be a baseline. That's like the bar, and the bar is
you're literally interpreting it in the way what it doesn't say. It doesn't say.
That's what it says, though.
It doesn't say you would. It has no contradictions, which is some evidence that it's from God. It doesn't say that. It says if it was written by someone else from then God, they would have found contradictions. Not true.
No, it says
not true. They would not have found that
by any other than Allah. You would have found in it many a contradiction,
and that is a false statement. The inference is invalid.
All right, we're gonna move on to valid. That's logical. That's logical. That's a crazy nitpick.
Oh my God!
Sam is right, but you have to be an atheist, a real atheist, to understand why.
See, all right. Look at my. Okay, guys, I have 3 more of these. They're not long. It says, this is another one. Say, O Jews, if you claim to be Allah's chosen people, then wish for death if you're truthful. Kind of implying that if you thought you were God's chosen people, you'd wish for death. But no, like, first off, Judaism prohibits suicide. Also, everyone has a desire to not die. We all love our families and our friends. We don't want to just die. So, like, it's just totally unreasonable to expect
the context.
Sam, listen to what he just said to you. Sam, listen to what he just said to you. There's a context behind the words, man. This is third grade fucking English, dude.
The context is that the fire will never touch them, etc. And if it does, it will be a brief moment, and they go special, and they are saved, and they are this, or all the arrogance. And if the saying is true, then wait for the eventual reality, because heaven is the actual ultimate reality. Why is still lingering around? The so-called trial and tribulation. Life is hard. Why don't you usher yourself, since you so believe you're chosen and you are special and you're beloved by the divine and hell will not touch you and so on? Why don't you wish for that higher thing, the higher reality, which is to be with God Himself? To experience the context is highlighted and stipulated in the Quran in depth, Sam. But you're not going to see it because you want to pick out a little phrase and they say, look, we don't wish for death. I know nobody wishes for death.
You never told them to commit suicide. That's the point. It doesn't. But again, the Abrahamic religions believe in an eschaton. And right, if the Jews who are claiming to be God's chosen people, why are they making the decision to go through these trials and tribulations like Brother Mahdi?
Because I'm scared of death. I'm told not to have death. Suicide's forbidden. I also just generally, don't want.
That is not a reasonable.
But they weren't commanded or given or being challenged to commit suicide. You just added that part in there.
They were commanded to commit suicide. Oh my God, please listen. I'm not saying they're commanded to. I'm saying they're commanded not to commit suicide. The reason why it would not be reasonable to expect that they would want to commit suicide.
Again, that goes against that. That's not how that verse is read, though.
Are you
you just added that in. That's what you're saying.
That you're a retard and we're amplifying it.
I am a retard. You're right.
No, but brother, you are.
Yes. All right, but what other?
I have two more. These are brief, guys.
Yeah, go ahead.
This one, okay. This is a verse. It says, "Then Allah revealed what He saw." Well, it's acting like it's unreasonable that the pagans would have different levels of confidence as Muhammad, but Muhammad saw a literal fucking angel, whereas the pagans did not see that. So it's in no way reasonable to expect them to have the same confidence levels when they have different evidence levels. One saw an angel, one didn't see an angel. So it's totally reasonable that they would be different amounts of confidence. The epistemology should be able to handle that one. So again, this is just not a reasonable thing that it's a weird inference that it's making, that the pagans should be as confident as Muhammad even though they didn't see the angel. Irrational. All right, the last one that I have is he's talking to the pagans and he says, "Do you prefer to have sons? Then why is it that you attribute to Allah daughters?" Kind of saying that it's irrational if they want sons to expect God to want daughters. But that itself is crazy because I could want sons and then thinking that God has the preference for daughters and then believing that.
There's a context for that too.
It's a totally insane criticism.
You know the pagans at the time would bury their daughters alive.
Yes.
You know that, right?
Yes.
That's just a laughable reading of the text.
Wait, what's being said there?
Yeah, what is being said there is that you yourself have a presupposed hierarchy of offsprings where you prefer male offsprings over female offsprings, yet you attribute to the divine, who supposedly is even in your conception or even in
the idea that it's an internal critique of the paganism of the time. So the idea is that it's an internal critique of pagans which place some hierarchical value upon male offspring as opposed to female offspring, which is just to say that it's a polemic on these pagans who are committing infanticide in favor of male offspring as opposed to female offspring. So the idea is that
so they don't have a very particular exalted conception of female offsprings, yet they are predicating off the divine female offsprings, whereas generally the general conception of theology is that which is preferred, that which is considered noble, is predicated of the divine. This is perfectly understandable polemic. Like, there's nothing nonsensical about it.
Let's look at the context for a second. Let's read the ayahs right before it.
By the way, this is not just literally like majority of critical historical scholars.
All right, so it says on Quran comment says, "Do you prefer to have sons while you attribute to have daughters?" But then prefers put in brackets, so I guess it doesn't have the word prefer. I guess the Arabic is it for you the male and for him the female? So I guess the prefer is what Quran.com has, but you're saying that it's not.
Says, is to you the males and to God the females? That's a rhetorical question.
Yeah. I guess
you are attributing to the divine something you don't even prefer for your own self. Whereas the common sense understanding is that to the divine, the most perfected and the most preferred is predicated.
Yeah, so I guess it depends on whether you think that they think that daughters are like objectively worse than sons, or whether they just prefer daughters to sons.
No, that's false. That's simply false. I can tell to Matthew that Matthew, for example, claims to respect me a lot, for example. And he gives me $1 note and keeps the $5 note for himself. Or rather the opposite. He gives me the $5 note and keeps the $1 note for himself. But in Matthew's conception, $1 note is more preferred, or he has a very peculiar, weird conception, which I don't really agree with. Actually, the $5 note is actually more noble than the $1 note. So it's an internal critique. It doesn't have anything to do with actual value. If anything, Quran has polemic against infanticide, female infanticide. That's a separate topic.
So, if the pagans at the time thought that women were were less noble than men, then it would be less. It would make sense to say critique them for saying, "Why are you attributing a less noble property?" But if they were just saying, "I prefer sons to daughters," then it would be totally an unreasonable critique because they go, I just want sons because they get
alive. That was just a thing that happened back then as well.
Elias, you think that there's flat because there's many Muslims that say no, it doesn't say it. Because there's many Muslims that say no, it doesn't say it. That when it says
actually all the scriptures, all the Near Eastern scriptures have flat earth, so it's nothing specific to Quran. All the Near Eastern scriptures have flat earth.
Do you think that even if it didn't have it in the Near East context of flat Earth, that just if it didn't have it in the Near East context of flat Earth, that just the text itself lends to a flat Earth interpretation, or do you have to add?
It lends itself to a flat Earth interpretation because engaging with that.
Because the verses that I have is, and the verse, how is it spread out? Have we not made the earth like a bed? And the earth, after that, he leveled it out. Did we not make the earth like a cradle? So cradle, bed, leveled out, spread out. All of those are sort of imagery that looks like flat Earth cosmology. People try to say
it is cosmology. Very clearly is.
And the biggest indicator is the seven heavens.
Why is that one flat Earth?
Because ancient cosmology. So a lot of Muslim traditionalists will say something like, "No, the Quran doesn't say the Earth is flat." Where does it say the Earth is flat? Usually because they're not familiar with, textual analysis. What's sufficient is to identify features of a model Earth, and there was a dome, and that they were able to perceive that there are certain objects in the sky, in the night sky, that don't follow the same kind of pattern as the general backdrop of stars. They could only see what they, had as 7 classical planets. Okay, a lot of this stuff always end up with something we can't control. So, certain numbers, certain symbologies, they usually go back to something we can't control. So what we can't control is how many of these objects the human eye can see without technology. Our ancestors could only see 7 classical planets. It was basically the sun, the moon, and then Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. They couldn't see other astronomical objects that obey a certain motion that is different from the general backdrop of stars. So they believed that each of these 7 occupied a certain layer, and they referred to it as the 7 heavens or the 7 skies. Muhammad, intermediary, is watchful over the lower parts of creation, which is earth and below that hell. And incidentally, you mentioned Dhul Qarnayn, the Dhul Qarnayn legend, which is most likely the Syriac Alexander legend or a version of the Syriac Alexander legend. In the Nashana, it kind of goes quite comprehensively into the idea of the fetid sea, or Okeanos, and this is basically Alexander, or the mythicized Alexander, of course, not the historical Alexander, the mythicized Alexander, the legend. One of the events is that he tries, he wants to defy this, and he wants to cross the fetid sea in order to subjugate the earth to glorify his divine name. And so the Nashana goes quite extensively into this legend.
Didn't the ancient Babylonians think that there was like the saltwater sea and then the freshwater, and that like the world is inside of a saltwater sea, and then like the fresh. There's like the like when in the Old Testament when it says God separated the waters. No, that's not those. I just feel like there's a old ancient Near East stuff of the freshwater and the saltwater being like these two primordial forces, and that we're living in a saltwater thing. Is that the same thing as the
notion of planets? But you cannot see any planet from the Earth with the naked eye. None. The only planet you can see us. Matthew, I don't know where you this stuff from. The ancients knew of the seven classical planets. You can't. Now, in the Arabic language, the irony is there were two notions out there for so-called stars. And then there's a third for clusters called Buruj. It's all accepted. A Buruj is a cluster of stars. Is it a galaxy or is it an actual cluster of stars? The galaxy is still a cluster of stars, and sometimes within our own localized galaxy, you have other clusters of stars. These are called Buruj, generally reference to those night objects. There are two other types of night objects. You could call them all Masabih, because they all happen to glare out light. 6 or 7 points in the night sky in terms of lights that move fast over the night sky. And there's others that seem to be stationary. The ones that move around fast, they're called Kawakib. The ones that seem to keep their place, they're called Nujum. They don't know whether any of them is a planet or not. Now, the author of the Quran distinguishes between them. He doesn't call them Samawat. I don't know where you're getting this analogy from. I don't know which hocus pocus bag you're getting this from. You keep on mentioning this point as if, yes, but Muhammad, he visions in this way and retailed it. No, you actually need to listen to the language and maybe listen to the ancients too. Because they never said any of this. There was a Jupiter and a Saturn and on and on. I don't know where you're getting this stuff from. Because they can't see them.
I got ChatGPT. I asked ChatGPT.
Oh, so I'm going to be stopped, so we'll move on.
You just said they couldn't see them with the naked eye. You just said they couldn't see them with the naked eye.
They didn't know their planets.
Marty, you just said you couldn't see them.
You still see them, Marty.
So, do you know what the difference? You could see stars there too.
Matty, brother, 1 second.
Silly person.
Matty,
you know how you distinguish a planet from a star?
Yeah, because they don't have fixed positions.
Yes, you can. Yes, you
They don't
can.
have. Yeah,
No, you can't.
Yes, you can.
Yes, you can, Marty.
Oh my goodness,
Matty,
Matthew.
listen, bro. I didn't want to look. I don't mean to upset you when I say these. They're not chemical points I'm making. They're just. I mean, it's just the history of astronomy. Yeah, the ancient astronomers they could identify that some astros always stay the same. It's a constellation. They move with each other from our perspective. Okay. Whereas there was
how do you know these moving?
They're not moving in the same way as stars are, because they move independently. They don't keep fixed positions. You know, you look at the night sky and over the year it kind of drift eastward, even during the night, right? Even during the night, it doesn't follow the same pattern.
Yeah,
so they knew that
moving
these
stars. That's all.
Stars are not moving. The constellations remain static. The planets move based on the sky. This is basic naked eye observation of the sky. Clearly, you've never looked up at the sky, Matthew, for you to make these claims. I didn't tell you this.
Wait, hang on. Just the reason the stars flicker, I'm pretty sure it's not because you're actually seeing the gas on them like flare out or something. It's because of like the atmosphere as the light like moves through like pockets of air at different pressures and so on. Kind of.
It's why does it not affect the planets, Deepak?
I would imagine it does. I wasn't sure about this, so I didn't say anything.
I don't think planets flicker.
No, when you look at the planet.
Let me ask like a real language model, like Gemini 3.0 Pro that came out today.
No, dude, like, it's so simple. If it's nighttime, just go look.
I think he knows more than whatever information you can pull up. I think he knows more than whatever information you can pull up. I'll tell you why he knows.
I'll tell you why he doesn't.
Yeah? But then we can challenge each other, but just listen to me for like 2 seconds. No worries, don't panic. So he's a nomadic by nature, him and his family. He comes from the same region as I do. And we sleep looking at the skies, if that makes sense. The pollution levels are clear and everything is good. So if he says something, I would say, take from him is better.
against Islam in Spain about 500 years ago only had access to like half the surahs. The other half he just didn't know. Had no way of contacting. I mean, this is basically what you're positing. And this is why the argument is
500 years ago, they didn't have access to the surahs?
But the big thing that...
You guys gotta let other people talk, man. How long is this guy gonna drag on?
Because you guys are not making any rational claims.
Right? Textual manuscripts or evidence in Arabia, or particularly Mecca or Medina, during the time of the Prophet. That's like his essential question.
Yeah, and the first point is, if you're saying all of these were available at the same time, right? Address what parts in the Quran it talks about, Paul's writings in the Quran, right? You haven't demonstrated that. You're just saying, oh, this happened and that happened. Show actual verses that show, it's talking about the things that Paul talked about.
The Quran doesn't talk about the Gospels either, dude, in any meaningful.
Okay, so did you just contradict yourself?
No, I didn't contradict myself, dude. You see, that's the thing. You keep making this division.
You said the Quran doesn't address the Gospels, or does it address the Gospels? It has to be one or the other.
What I'm saying.
Yes. It has to be one or the other. You can't. 2 minutes ago said he knew about the Gospels and all the Pauline writings and Thomas and all of these.
Hold on. There's no hold on.
Even
Allah is one man against many.
So you keep bobbing on. Let him talk for more than 2 minutes.
Let him respond, bro. Let him respond.
How about you shut up and let me respond? I let you speak. Let you shut up,
please.
Yeah.
All right, so you posited well for the first answer. I congratulate you on that. The second one, you went...
Life is opinion, the universe is just facts.
That doesn't posit... Listen, I'm not taking... So be mindful, like when you answer his questions.
Wait, anyway, hold on. I need to get a response.
I'll let you just shut up so I can finish speaking.
The problem is he's contradicting himself. Bro, he literally got 2 minutes uninterrupted.
You asked the question.
We let him finish. Let him finish after which Lee will speak. After which, let him finish, man. He's trying to answer your question. Let him finish. After which, he wants to finish. Let him finish.
Okay,
after
when is
which,
he gonna finish?
Okay.
He's never finished.
Number 2, it's a weird tree that has Mary, and I know you guys are still crying about but the Caloridians. Well, show me the evidence of the Caloridians. You don't have any, right? You have less evidence of the Caloridians than you do that epistles of Peter, Paul, and all these people were circulating in Arabia. But with the Caloridians, you'll explain that they exist and all this sort of stuff. So Muhammad was aware of the Gospels, right? And to the extent that they existed. Now about the actual content, no. That's why you have the story about the clay bird. That's from a Gnostic text. That's not from the Gospels. So Muhammad was not intimately familiar with the point of the Gospels, especially to the point, right? Especially concerning doctrines that we're trying to talk about is like differences between Peter and Paul. He was not familiar to the point where we would have made any meaningful distinction between Peter, Paul, people. Those who are familiar with Peter and Paul would have talked about and argued about the difference between following Judaic law, not about things like faith and works, not about things like the Trinity, not about other. When it comes to Christian doctrine, Peter and Paul are absolutely in sync with each other, barring practicing of the Old Testament mitzvot, which Peter himself acknowledges that he was wrong about in his own epistle.
I'm not gonna hold my breath on this one. I'm not, but I think at this point with Trump saying, fine, release the files, and if Jeffrey Epstein's brother Mark is right, that they're scrubbing the files of all Jewish names or anybody of importance name, then just going to release the files, and we're just going to see.
Congress!
Names will be missing.
Come on up. See how the Republicans are fucking little boys.
My breath, that's for sure. watching this clip.
Oh, child. It's actually just missed out. Just missed out with the whole thing. Like, child. Oh, let's listen to this.
With this vote, we are finally putting these victims and these survivors of Jeffrey Epstein and the cabal of rich, powerful elites that expands not just here in the United States of America, but to other countries as well. We're putting them last.
Preach it, sister. That was Republican Congressman Marjorie Taylor Greene.
This dad knows that feeling watching your kid. This dad knows that feeling watching your kid.
Is a leader who is loved. Is a leader who. 19.
Another example in our rate where you have such pain on a skin. For your audience, John.
Hey, Mita.
Really good time to convert someone. A North Carolina woman lost.
Can you deal with the most vital matters by letting events take their course? Giving birth and nourishing. Having without possessing. Acting with no expectations. Leading and not trying to control. This is the supreme virtue. 11. We join spokes together in a wheel, but it is the center hole that makes the wagon move. We shape. We hammer wood for a house, but it is the inner space that makes mind the eye. Sounds deafen the ear. Flavors numb the taste. Thoughts weaken the mind. Desires wither the heart. The master observes the world, but trusts his inner vision. He allows things to come and go. His heart is open as the sky. 13. Success is as dangerous as failure, both phantoms that arise from thinking of the self. When we don't see the self as self, can care for all things. Fourteen. Look, and it can't be seen. Listen, and it can't be heard. Reach, and it can't be grasped. Above, it isn't bright. Below, it isn't dark. Seamless, unnameable. It returns. Above, it isn't bright. Below, it isn't dark. Seamless, unnameable. It returns to the realm of nothing. Form that includes all forms. Image without an image. Subtle, beyond all conception. Approach it, and there is no beginning. Follow it, and there is no end. You can't know it, but you can be it. At ease in your own life. Just realize where you come from. This is the essence of wisdom. 15. The ancient masters were profound and subtle. Their wisdom was unfathomable. There is no way to describe it. All we can describe is their appearance. They were careful as someone crossing an iced-over stream, alert as a warrior in enemy territory, courteous as a guest, fluid as melting ice, shapeable as a block of wood, receptive as a valley, clear as a glass of water. Do you have the patience to wait till your mud settles and the water is clear? Can you remain unmoving, welcome all things? 16. Empty your mind of all thoughts. Let your heart be at peace. Watch the turmoil of beings, but contemplate their return. Each separate being in the universe returns to the common source. Returning to the source is serenity. If you don't realize the source, you stumble in confusion and sorrow. When you realize where you come from, you naturally become tolerant, disinterested, amused, kind-hearted as a grandmother, dignified as a king. Immersed in the wonder of the Tao, you can deal with whatever life brings you. And when death comes, you are ready. When the master governs, the people are hardly aware that next, one who is